Right, so at this stage of the video, we are able to log in a person. So I'm going to say gmail.com, chuck@gmail.com, and I think my password was 12345. And if I click on login, you can see it logs in this person successfully. Now, if we remove this activity totally, and I open up my application again, you can see it's taking me back to the login screen. Whereas in our Java file where we log in the user, you'll remember, let me just see where's the login, that we add the stay logged in true value there, which means that we want this user to stay logged in. Okay, so this is one thing now that's not working 100% as we would like. So actually the user is logged in, but it takes him back to the login page when we start this whole application. So in this video, we will handle this part to see if the user is currently valid and then log him in automatically without him needing to log in his details again. Right, so what we're going to do is to go into our login activity, and then you'll see that we start with the button and set the on-click listener, and the register button and set the on-click listener, and the TV reset. So after all those on-click listeners, we can do some coding that will actually run before these, because these are just listening for something to happen. So what we'll do now will actually start before anything of that happens inside of these on-click listeners. Okay, so we're going to do something here. So what we'll do is to go to Backendless right at the start, and we're going to call the user service, and we're going to check first if this login, this user that's currently logged in, if it's a valid login. So if it's a valid login, and we're basically just going to say new async callback there, and if it's a valid login, it's going to go to handle response. Remember, we said that user, we set it to true there, stay logged in. So now we're checking, is it still valid, this guy that will be currently logged in. So we're checking if it's valid, the Boolean value there will be true, otherwise it will be false. If there's something that's wrong, we'll just display a toast here and tell the user error and go to fault.getMessage. Right, and then also we must remember that just before this, we can show the progress now by passing in the true value, and we'll try to log in this user without going to the login screen first. So we'll show the show progress. So just remember that right from the start, we're just setting up components here. This is just setting up an on-click list, and only when the user clicks on it, it will execute this code. This code won't execute right at the start. Also, this code won't execute right at the start unless the user clicks on the button. Also this part. So by calling show progress, the user will actually right from the start see nothing on the screen. If you're worried about that, you can also cut that and just paste it somewhere here in the front, just after you've set up these 3 lines of coding. Okay, so I'm going to start showing the progress there, and then we check if it's a valid login. If it's not a valid login, or if there's a problem, we will need to show progress to set show progress to false, so that we can carry on and log in the user. Right, so now if we can test here, if that response is true, what do we want to do? It means now that this is a valid login, and we want to take the user now to the next activity. Well, we've seen that it's a valid login, but we need to get the user. So if you want to get the user after this, the else part there will just be, if it's not a valid login, we will basically just call show progress and set the value to false so that he can log in. But if it is a valid login, you can directly take him to the new activity, or you can first get that user. So if you want to get that user, we'll need to follow the following procedure. You need to first get the user's object ID. So we're going to say object ID equals. Now we're going to go to the user, let me just see, user ID storage factory, and that's what that true value did there for us. It stored it somewhere on the phone that this user is still going to be logged in. So we're going to go to the user ID storage factory .instance.getStorage.get, and that gets me now basically the object ID for the user that we want to have currently logged in. And then we're going to go to Backendless.data.of, and now we need to indicate the class that we want to access in the Backendless cloud. So we want to use the Backendless user class. That's the one we want to access, and we want to find the user, or let's just say find by ID. We want to find that user by its ID, and we're going to use that user object ID that we just had there. This user object ID, that's the one that we want to search for and find by ID, and then the next argument is just the async callback again, and you could close it off with a semicolon. Okay, so basically what we're doing now, we're checking, is it still a valid login? Is there a user that's already logged in? And if it's true, we get that user's object ID by calling user idFactory.instance.getStorage.get, and then we go to Backendless, we make a connection again, go to the Backendless user class, get that user by its ID so that you have the whole Backendless user object there, and that this response then, if such a user is currently logged in and you've got that user, it will be this response. If anything went wrong with this, we're going to go to the toast there, and we can just say error again, fault.getMessage. And then we can also remember to just set the show progress to false there, and the progress will stop showing, and the user will again be back at the login. Right, so if we've got this user now, then we know the user is currently a valid login, and we've got the user. Now we can start the activity and take him to the landing page. So the landing page will basically be our main activity. Right, so how do we take him there? We will say new intent. We will start with the login activity, login.this as the context, and we want to take him to the main activity.class. And then after this, we can just basically go and say, well, this is the login class, so we're going to say login.this.finish, and we finish off this class. So basically, he will then directly go to the main activity, and this class will finish. So if anything fails here, the progress dialog will just be stopped, and we will carry on logging in that specific user. So we can just quickly test this. Oh, by the way, we'll do that now. We can also set the text on that progress bar to something else, and we'll do that now. Right, so now it runs the application again. You can see this is now the part that we coded, and it takes it back to the landing page. So what we can do now is to go into the settings, just go to settings of the app, and we're going to go to the apps. Let's go to app info, and I'm going to search for my app that's called Contacts 2018. And what we can do now is to go to storage and clear the data as well as clear the cache. Right, and then we can start this application again. So we can open up, start the application, and then the login information will be gone. So now if we want to register a new user, you can do this now. So let's just try having something else here, chuck2@gmail.com, or let's just call it chuck2, and we'll have chuck2@gmail.com. And the password will be 12345 and 12345. And let's register. So you can see loading, please wait. So we can change that text to say registering, please wait. So let's quickly go to the register activity, and where we start showing, where do we register here? So basically here we start showing the progress. So we can go and call tvload.setText. And we set the text to that text view as busy registering user, please wait. Okay, and now if we run it again and try that part again, you will see the text change on that part. Right, let's try and register a third person quickly here. So this will be Chuck3. And it will be chuck3@gmail.com, 12345, 12345. And now look at the load screen, busy registering user, please wait. And then you're done. Okay, so now we can log in this user. I'm going to use chuck@gmail.com, and I'm going to log in with 12345. Now let's look at this login. When we click login, let me just see that one also. So if we click on login, we show the progress So we can also set the TV load here, set the text for TV load to be something else. So we can say busy logging you in, please wait. Right, I'm just going to run that app again. Okay, let's log in again, chuck@gmail.com, 1 2 3 4 5, and then we can say login, busy logging you in, please wait. Logged in successfully, we are in. Okay, so now we close down the app totally, and we open up the app again. So what will happen now? It goes into the first part and it says loading, please wait again. So now instead of saying loading, please wait, we can change that also. But you can see we've been taken directly to the new activity or the first activity. Now let's go down. You can see here we start showing the progress true. You could have done it there at the bottom as well. So then we go into the user server and check whether we can log in this guy. So we can also set TV load here. So we can say set text, and when we want to check if the user is logging, so we can basically say something like checking login credentials, please wait. And then as soon as we get into this part where we know this guy is fine, it is true there, we can then say here TV load, we can change it again. We can set text logging you in, please wait. Right, so let's try that one again, and then when we're done with logging in, the show progress will be done and so forth. So let's just run and see how it works now. So now remember, when this app starts, it will basically start with the login activity, which will try to log in the user automatically. So there we go, checking login credentials, logging you in. And so you can see we move from the one text view to the one part where we just started it. If this one is done and we know it's true, then we can change the text to logging you in, please wait. So, which is quite nice. So if I go back and I remove this, start the application again, you will see that it also goes checking login credentials, logging you in, please wait, and we are at the new page, or we are at the main activity. Now the last thing for this video is to just quickly go to your reset button or your reset part and also set the load there. So we can also here say TV load dot set text and set some text here. So remember, when we ask the user to reset his password, it will go into this part, show the progress, and then it goes in and tries to restore the password. So we can say something like busy sending reset instructions, please wait, and that's your load button. Okay, so that's basically then it for this video. We are done for this video. You know how to log in a new user, how to register a user, you know how to reset the password, and you know how to keep a user logged in. So see you in the next video, where we'll start with the main page of the application.